Hey y'all. I thought I'd come on today and talk about my 2019 budget. So here comes my cat. Oh. Anyway, so there's you some little cat paws. He does this every time. Y'all, if I sit down to film, here he comes. Anyway, I thought I'd show y'all my 2019 budget planner setup. So, if you've been following me for a while, you know that 2018 was the year that I up and quit my job and went full-time with Salty Katie. And as I have been doing my books and looking back at my expenses, both for the shop and personally, a couple of things, this cat, y'all, a couple of things, I don't know, a couple of things, there's some crap I need to address. And what I need to address is, while I was kind of keeping an eye on my expenses, I wasn't setting out a budget and sticking to that budget based on the needs of the shop. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there needs to be, this is what I plan on spending, this is what I actually spent, and, you know, here's the plus or minus of that. I just want to get a lot better handle on both my personal and my shop finances, because you cannot make a successful small business if you're not watching your pennies come in and out as close as you need to be. I think one of the larger lessons I learned, you know, it takes a person a while to learn how to run a small business. And since it's just me, I mean, it's very literally just me. There's nobody to have budget meetings with. There's nobody that says, hey, you're spending too much money on stickers. You know, hey, you probably shouldn't have bought that much equipment this year, if that makes sense. And the same goes for your personal finances. So I set out to revamp the way I'm handling my my budgeting and my expenses, and so I thought I'd show y'all what my setup looks like in case that's something that you want to get a hold of in 2019 as well. Because part of being a planner and part of having your life under control and organized and comfortable is having a hold of your money. Having a good tight grip on what's coming in and what's going out can relieve a lot of problems. It can make you less anxious. It can make sudden bills a lot less stressful. I don't know, it just seems like it's a worthwhile endeavor that would be good for a person's business or for their home finances, and then for your quality of life overall. You know, if you suddenly have to replace the tires on your car and you've got money set aside for that, then you go from having this like stressful event to being like, oh, okay, well, we knew I was going to have needed tires, so I'll put money back, if that makes sense. So that's what I'm doing. And so maybe the best way to start off your budget is not to purchase 2 brand new planners. I'm just saying. Shit. But one thing I've noticed I do, like, if y'all follow me on Instagram, my papaw passed away. That was not unexpected. He had been declining for a while. It was kind of sudden, like, you know, but he was getting older anyway. Grief sometimes causes me to spend money, which it shouldn't. So that's another thing, you know, sometimes I spend money emotionally, which I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one, but, you know, retail therapy and all that. So that's one of the things I'm looking to get a handle on. But anyway, so I've got one that's labeled Salty, that's for my business, and this is the one that's set up. It started in November, and then this is my personal one, which is not set up at all yet. But I just want to show you that I got 2 separate ones so that I can keep the finances separate, which is super important if you're a small business owner. It's got to be all separate. Anyway, so this is the larger of the Erin Condren Deluxe monthly planners, which actually, you know what, I bet she has a great sale for Black Friday. So Black Friday would probably be the time to order you one of these if you wanted one. So anyway, what I've got done here, I want to make sure it's all in frame. Let me zoom in just a touch. Okay, so this year they actually have the tabs on there, so you won't have to put your own tabs. And I guess the first thing I can start with is this 2018-2019 calendar, and the little colored dots that you see here they coincide with my sinking funds, which is back here in the back. So here is a list of my sinking funds, what they're going to be for, and then the ones that I know the date of, then I've color coded. Like, I'm not necessarily going to know when I'm going to have to pay, you know, to purchase new equipment. That might be a savings type thing, so I left that one with no color code because I don't know when next year yet I'm going to spend that money. But for the ones that I do know, like tax prep for instance, I know that's going to happen in February because that's when I send all my documentation in to my tax lady to get her to prepare my taxes, my small business taxes. Well, she does both. Anyway, so I know when I'm going to need to spend that money, if that makes sense. So I use these color-coded dots to do that with. And I've got these, I guess I should say, that part of my Black Friday releases is going to be an entire budget kit. So that if you wanted to, you could set up your budgeting similar to what I'm doing or take pieces and parts of it. So here's the little color coding dots. So I've done those. Now this, I'm actually going to label with the months and then put out what I expect to spend on each month, just as to have a visual. And let's see. November, we're already through the 15th of November, so I haven't set up this month totally yet. What I did was set out ahead for December. So, what I do with this, if y'all have ever seen Jen Plans, I took a lot of tips from her on how she sets up her monthly budget. Because I think it makes a lot of sense. It's clear. She's got a system down for it, and I really like it. So I've got some different colored stickers here depending on what's happening. Anything in pink is my little auto drafts and what day they come out and how much is coming out. The green is money coming in. So Etsy and Shopify pay on different schedules. So what I'll do is just total up my income for the week. So I'll do Saturday through Friday and then come up with an income total. But obviously if you're working for somebody like normal, then you'll just, you know, put in your weekly or bi-weekly income, however it goes. Then the purple is for bills that I actually have to go out and pay. Either online I have to pay or whatever it is. Like for instance, I have to go and file and then pay my state taxes every month. So I'll do that on the 8th of December. And then the gray ones here are transfers. When you need to transfer money either between one bank account or another, or in my case, some of my income comes in through PayPal, so I have to transfer from PayPal to my bank account. And then I also have to pay myself. So I have to transfer from my business account to my personal account. So that's what those gray labels are for. And so here's what those look like. So transfer, here's a little cash back. Like I'll use this for my personal income. Like if I'm shopping at the grocery store, I need to get cash back because there's a bill I have to pay in cash. That's what those are for. ATM withdrawal. Here's the low income ones. auto draft, and then the bill due ones. So that's what I'm using here. So those will be available in both the large monthly and the small monthly. So here's what a month kind of looks at like, and it's super helpful for me to know. Maybe you see how there's less bills coming out of this side of the month than there are in the top part of the month. Maybe I could spend a little more here, but slow down up here, if that makes sense. And then let me show y'all one that's filled out. I already got November. I'm gonna say November filled out. Okay, so here, this is essentially an entire budget setup in sticker form. Like, you can take plain paper and turn it into a budget in like 2 seconds flat, because the stickers do it for you. Excuse me. So I have fixed expenses at the top, well, budget, and then fixed expenses, and then here's a list of my little bills that I know are a definite expense coming out every month. And then here's my little my row for the actual money amount that's coming out. Then I've got variable expenses, and here is where I am really gonna be looking to put out a budget, then write down what I actually spent, plus or minus of that, and then any notes. So, like for instance, this month I put out, we'll just say I put out $100 budget for materials. I was expecting to need to spend $100 this month, and what I actually spent is a little closer to $130. So I need to assess there whether I overspent on materials or if my budget wasn't large enough, whatever it is. This is the part that I think is I have not been looking closely enough at. Planning ahead, looking at what I actually spent, looking at what went over or, you know, under, and then adjusting based on that. It's so important, I think. And then the next one is sinking funds. So sinking funds are, like, for instance, we'll say car maintenance would be a sinking fund. While you don't necessarily know when your car is going to need maintenance, you know it's going to need maintenance. So you put a little money back for that. Home repair. Like, you don't necessarily know when your washing machine's going to shit twice and die on you, but you know it's going to happen sooner or later, or something else is going to break, so you put some money back for home repair, so that when those sort of unexpected expenses pop up, it's not as stressful. So I've got my sinking funds laid out here. Like tax prep, for instance. That's a fixed expense. I know I'm going to have it every year. So I'm going to divide it out by the total out by the number of months I've got left until that expense, and I'm going to sink that every month. So this is another super important part, and these are the things that I wasn't like watching close enough, I think. And then I've also got a spot here for my income, the date, the source, how much it was, and the balance for the month, so that when I get down here there'll be a total income for the month. And then savings. There may be, like, I know in 2019 there's going to be a particular piece of equipment that I'm going to try to start, like, saving for purposefully. So that might be one that I put right here. There may also be, like, some kind of, like, a website upgrade, or I'm going to have to pay for some kind of professional services to have something done. So that's what I would put under savings. And then I would also put just, you know, rainy day money, like if some shit goes down and I need to whatever. So that's what that's for. So if you just did these 4 sheets, you'd have a budget for every month of the year, like full on. And that's what I wanted to do, because the easier it is, the more likely I'm going to do it. The more likely I'm going to come back every month, look at these expenses, deal with it. You know what I'm saying? The less likely I am to avoid it, the easier and more pleasant it is. So there's those. So excited. And then, okay, so there's that one that's sort of filled out, and I wanted to show you one that's blank. Let me show you a little closer up so you can kind of see. So budget, my fixed expenses, my money amount, my variable expenses. So there's a place for the expense, what you budgeted, what you actually spent, plus or minus in the notes. Like in notes, I might be like, stop buying stickers, ho. You know what I'm saying? And then this is actually too large for me to get the, here we go, wait a minute. Ah, sinking funds. There's the fund, the balance, plus or minus the balance, and the notes. And then here's income, date, source, plus, and balance. And then savings. Fund, balance, plus, minus, balance, notes. So does that make sense? How it's sort of like a whole budget layout in one little deal? Like here's my whole month. It took 2 seconds to lay out, and now I can just come in here and start writing it out. Because if you got goals, you want to buy a house, you need to upgrade something having to do with your housing, you want to buy a new car, you want to pay off your debt, you want to, whatever you want to do, you got to look at your money to be able to do that, if it makes sense. So well, that's my thinking anyway. So that's what I'm doing. And I want you, oh, here's a size comparison. So here's the little small, let me do it on something you can actually see. There we go. So there's the size of the regular Erin Condren Deluxe Monthly. Like I said, I have the large, but here's the regular size, so you can see the stickers also work there. I think it's totally awesome, and I cannot wait to get into it, because I think it's going to help me to reach my goals. And I don't know, when a new year starts, I'm like, pooh, all right, let's say goodbye to 2018. Let's get on our goals for 2019. What do we want to achieve? And a big part of what I want to do is just become like a budget master for my personal budget and for my shop budget. Because another thing is, I don't know about y'all, but I have some fucking student loans that are like, I mean, shut up, girl. I mean, I can't believe they do that to students. When you go look at your student loan statement when they send it, go look at how much money you've spent on interest, and then go look on how much of that money they've applied to the principal. Oh my God, y'all, thousands and thousands of dollars have gone to interest, and then this little part over here went to the actual principal. You know what that means, right? That the amount of the loan isn't actually going down. So you can pay for years and years and years and only really be hitting the interest. Like the balance isn't gonna change. Y'all should have been in my house with me when I saw that last statement. I was like, I don't even know. But all that to say, I'd like to start like a debt snowball, because all we've got left in debt, I mean, I don't have, well, I lie. I got like $200 on a Home Depot credit card, I think, but that's it. The rest of the debt is our house, which I would call good debt, and our cars, which I would also call good debt. Like his is most of the way paid off, mine is better than halfway paid off. And then we've got our student loan debt, and that's it. And the student loan debt never goes down. You can just pay and pay and pay and pay. So what you have to do is start like dumping money on that. And I think that's going to be one of my goals this year, is instead of just paying that note every month, is to start the debt snowball thing where, I mean, I don't even know, it probably wouldn't even be a debt snowball when you only have one debt that you're trying to freaking get rid of. But you see what I'm saying? Like, I want to pile up money and just dump it on that student loan to see, because I don't want that, like, hanging around my neck. And I think it'll make me feel a little better about my personal finances if that's taken care of too. So, anyway, this video has been quite a bit more rambly than I intended on. oh well, what you gonna do? Anyway, so my little budget releases are gonna happen on Black Friday. I'm excited about that. And also I'm gonna do, I think right now what I'm gonna do is like a percentage off store-wide. And then I may include some little flash sales, like only announced on Instagram, lasts for the next hour, and it's a X sale on this item or that, if you catch my meaning. So I may do that. But these are definitely going live on Black Friday. And I'm looking to have one new pouch release. I can't wait for y'all to see these. And then potentially a New Year's kit, but we'll see if I'm able to squeeze that in between now and Black Friday. So yeah, what I wish y'all would do is in the comments, y'all let me know how you manage your budget. Like, what are you doing to take care of it? I would be super curious to know, like, what's working for you, what's not. Are you on top of it? Are you not? Is it something you want to work on? Just tell me how you're managing it so I don't feel so bad about it. Like, I mean, girlfriend, I would look at that budget, I would be like, oh girl, you got to get a hold to that. And so that's what I'm experiencing. I'm just curious, like, what y'all are doing with it. Anyway, so I hope your holiday season is shaping up nicely. Yeah, and thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope to see you again real soon. Bye.